we are going to try and look for greater sources of revenue. It's not just about curtailing expenditure, but also revenue. But before I get to the revenue, let me say one more thing we are looking at. We had the Steve Oronsai report looking at the many agencies within the bureaucracy of government. And one of the things we are going to be looking at is there any way to further, based on this report, streamline the bureaucracy and save some resources that can then be redeployed to other uses. So that's one of the things I would like to have your thoughts on some of these areas of streamlining. We are spending a lot of money here paying personnel who are not necessarily in areas that are producing much for the economy. We have some parastatals still not really producing, but we have staff there that we continue to pay. What do we do with those kinds of problems? Those are the things that, we are worrying about. On the revenue side, we hope to push further to increase internally generated revenue, to work with FRS and customs to try and increase tax collection and improve, expand our tax base, which we feel is still too narrow. This may yield additional resources to us. We'll also work with customs to see what we can generate from all those sources, so that, it's not just a question of staying with what revenues we have now, but really working very hard on all fronts to also see how we improve. We will also work to stem leakages, because part of improving revenues is also trying to stem leakages. As you have seen, Mr. President has set up a presidential task force to look at what has come out of the Igimokwede report that was technical committee that was set up by my ministry, the Ministry of Finance. And once that work is giving them a tight deadline of verifying all the documents once more with some of these companies, we will work hard to try and recover some of those resources and bring them back to the Treasury. We will also be working, and Mr. President again is focusing on this, on stemming the bunkering. That is also a source of leakage of revenue for the economy. So those areas will also yield us some potential additional resources that we can utilize towards financing our expenditures. These are some of the issues that we are looking at. In the long term, whatever few resources we have to be directed into priority areas. Remember I said fiscal consolidation with growth. So we have to try not to expand into every areas with ever more and more projects. We have over 6,000 unfinished projects now. But to ask ourselves the question, which are the critical few sectors where we can really direct expenditures and get some returns that will lay the foundation and the basis for growth for this economy. And that requires a lot of discipline, because when it comes down to brass tacks, everybody thinks their own sector is important. And of course, they are all important. But at the end of the day, when you are working within an envelope of limited resources, you have to concentrate those resources to make headway. In Nigeria, we are not very good at making trade-offs. In trade-offs, deciding that, okay, we are going to focus on this and finish it and come back to the other later. No, we are not very good at doing that. Everybody says every sector is important and every project is important. So we spread our resources very thin. And at the end of the day, we don't make the kind of impact we need to make. So in this budget, and in consonance with the medium-term expenditure framework, we want to more carefully direct our resources to areas where we can make an impact. We want to continue to be transparent in the way that we plan and execute these budgets, and we are open to any questions of any information you want to know. I don't want to spend a lot of time going back into history, but again, accountability and transparency will be an underpinning principle to these projects and to this budget. So those are a few words that I would like to say. I don't want to take up too much time. What we want to do today is really to listen to you, taking your comments, your suggestions for how we can streamline the budget, for how we can focus the budget, for how we can stem leakages that are going out of our budget, of our revenue sources, and how we can, at the end of the day, make budget 2013 and our medium-term expenditure framework a budget and an expenditure framework that works more directly for the country in a better and more beneficial way. Thank you very much.